In this tutorial, we're continuing laying out walls for project 1, and this time we're going to focus on the interior walls of our project. In other software programs like AutoCAD, I may worry about placing my walls in the exact locations that I want them while I'm modeling or drawing them. In Revit, it's more of a parametric modeling package. So the best thing to do is to actually get the interior walls located and just out into the project, and then move them to exactly where they're going to be. So you'll see me use this process in this video. The interior walls, I'm going to lay them all out first of all using the specifications for interior walls off of the project handout, and use all 4.5-inch partition walls to begin with. So in my type selector, I'm going to select 4.5-inch partition. And then I'm just going to simply go in and model in all of the walls, not worrying where they're located right now. But I have a wall that starts here and ends about here and then moves up there. I'm going to do that master bedroom area. Here's kind of a master bath area. Here's a wall to define the other bathroom, and then the utility room and walk-in closet. There's a wall here to define a bedroom towards the front of the house, a wall for the hallway, and the entry there, a wall to form the closets. Then I'll come here and do a wall to form the other side of the entry and the back of the garage. I can even put the little stem wall in here to separate the kitchen from the living room. You can tell I didn't take a lot of time worrying about where those walls were. I just wanted to get them out into the project. And now, once I've got them into the project, I'm going to use some of the tools available to me to move these walls into the proper locations. Temporary dimensions will show up whenever you pick a wall. These are our temporary dimensions here. And by default, the temporary dimensions will come up to the center lines of the walls. However, you're not left to using those at the center lines of the walls. These little handles that you have right here, if I pick on those, I can flip what side of the wall or portion of the wall the temporary dimension is going to go to. So if I want to set the bedroom, this master bedroom width, which referencing the handout is 13'6", then what I'm going to do is that's 13'6" from the inside of the sheetrock on one wall to the inside of the sheetrock on the other wall. So I'm going to flip these witness lines from inside to inside. And then using my temporary dimension, I can select that and say I want that room width to be 13'6". And it moves that wall to the proper location. I'll then come in and select this wall so I can get it set in the proper location. But if I pick that wall, my temporary dimension is just going to come up to the nearest wall to the one that I select. Again, you're not stuck with it being there. In this case, if you select and hold down on your left mouse button that same little handle and go and touch the wall that you want it to now go to and let go, your temporary dimensions will move to that location. Then you can flip from inside to inside and set the depth of that master bedroom to 13'10". Now this room, this master bedroom area, is now set to the proper size. Once I have a room set to the correct size, I don't ever want to pick on this wall or that wall again to change any other room size, because it will mess up the master bedroom size. So the only options I have to set this bathroom size is to either select this wall or that wall to change its size. I'm going to set its width by coming in and selecting that wall, moving its temporary dimension, and then flipping those dimensions from inside to inside, and then referencing the handout, that bathroom width is 11 foot 0.5 inches. And set to there, the depth for that should be 5 foot right now. Then we'll come and set the depth for the width for the other bathroom. Inside to inside will be 5 feet as well. Then the depth of the walk-in closet, referencing our handout, is 4 foot 11. Now, after I've got all of these walls on the northern half of my home set in their proper locations, I shouldn't need to pick on them ever again to move them unless I want to make a revision of some sort. Now that we've got those walls set in the right spot, I do want you to reference the specifications in the handout where it references that this wall here and this wall here are wet walls, and that those wet walls should be 6.5 inch partitions instead of 4.5 inch partitions. So what I'll do is I'll just select those two walls, come to my type selector, change them to 6.5 inch partition walls. When I do that, it will actually change my dimension, and I'll have to come back in and reset that to be 5 foot. I'll point out though that because I've changed where those temporary dimensions were going to inside, Revit remembers what those were, so I just have to pick on that wall and reset it without having to flip the dimensions. Once I've got the back part of the house set, I'll come in here and work on the front, work in this front bedroom, and we'll set its width first. So I'll go inside to inside. That bedroom's width should be 10 foot 2. We don't need to move this wall. If we wanted to check the depth of that bedroom and that wall is in the proper location, I could pick it, drag and touch that dimension to the front wall, then flip inside and inside, and that wall should be 13.9 1/4. It looks like we've laid it out correctly. Here, what I want to do is get this wall set properly, and it will be depth. I'll go inside, inside. That depth should be 10 foot 4 3/4. So I'll say 10 space 4 space 3-4 for 4 3/4, and hit enter. And we'll set that wall in its right location. Now here we have a problem. And I did this on purpose so that I could show you another tool. This wall is an exterior wall, and this wall here is an interior wall. What we want to do is get to line those two walls up so that the sheetrock for this wall and that wall will line up with each other. And there's a tool on the Modify tab of the ribbon called Align. It's in the Modify panel and sits right here, Align. The shortcut for that is AL. If I select that, right now in my options bar, it's set to aligning wall center lines. Well, the center line of this wall and the center line of that wall won't allow me to line up the sheetrock in this location. So I'm going to change from wall center lines to wall faces. This tool, to use it properly, you pick the wall that you want to align with first, and then what you want to move second. So I'm going to come in here and pick this inner face first, that sheetrock face second, and say I will align those walls together. It'll also come up with what's called, looks like a little padlock there, and that's a lock tool. And what happens if I pick that will be that those two walls will be in alignment forevermore until I unlock them. So I use my Align tool here to line up those two walls, And then to set this bedroom's width, I now move this closet wall. So I'm going to select it, go inside to inside, and then that width is 10 foot 6 3/4. So I'll say 10 space 6.75. I did that a couple of different ways just to show you that you can use decimals or fractions of an inch when you're working with temporary dimensions. Now we have these bedrooms the correct size. Now that the bedrooms are the correct size, you'll notice that I left out this wall separating the two closets, and I did that on purpose so that I could just put it in when these walls were located properly and snap from a midpoint to this wall to get it separated exactly. So to do that, I'm going to come back to my wall tool, make sure in my type selector I'm an interior 4.5 inch partition wall, and I'll just snap from the midpoint of this wall into that wall, and that will give us two closets that are equally divided. Over here towards my garage, it looks like a perfect situation where I can use my align tool again. Remember, the shortcut for the align tool on the keyboard is just AL, and I can enter that tool. That's what I just did right there. And I'll pick this wall face and that wall face and then lock them together so that they're in alignment. Then I can set the depth of my garage. I'm going to drag out that temporary dimension and touch that front face, and then flip inside to inside. The depth of that garage is 22 feet, so I'll have that wall set in its right location, and then I can work with this wall here that separates the living room and the kitchen. It looks like it should be 9 foot 6 from the inside face there. So I'll say 9 foot 6, and its length is 10 feet. So I'll just make that 10 feet. Well, this concludes laying out the interior walls for our project 1.